Hey everybody, I hope you like my new t-shirt. Now on that note, I have been putting out a lot of videos lately about other companies' electric bikes, doing reviews. So it's only fair that every once in a while I show off some of the bikes that I have to offer from Bolton e-bikes. Now, so here you go. These are actually a few different models. This is one that I call the Fat Mini, and this is what we call the Fat Step Through. Now, that may seem rather generic, but yeah, I don't usually have fancy names for the bikes. I just call it like it is. That's a step through because it's a step through model, and that's the Fat Mini because it's kind of a mini bike with those 20-inch wheels. So I really love these bikes. I've got to be 100% honest. When fat tire folding bikes came out in the beginning, I was like, huh? Why would you put fat tires on a bike that folds up? It didn't make sense to me. But I have to say, I was wrong. Fat tire folding bikes have been by far the most popular folding bikes I have to offer. They're a lot of fun to ride. So why are they selling so well? Well, the folding aspect is nice, it's convenient. You can fit these into your car, your trunk. You can fit them in a wide variety of places, but you don't have to fold it. But they're also popular just because the seat moves up and down quite a bit. The handlebars have this adjustment right here, so they can move up and down. So it fits a wide range of heights. It's very easy to get on and off. And then the fat tires just make it a comfortable ride. So instead of feeling really squirrely like some of the small, narrow tire 20-inch folding bikes that are out there, they feel more stable. Now, is this as stable as a 24 or 26-inch fat tire bike? No, it's not going to be exactly the same. It's still a smaller wheel, so be aware that there's still a different kind of riding experience you get from one of these. On bike trails and bike paths and kind of just multi-purpose trails, these are great. If you want to get into more technical riding, then a bigger wheel does handle better. But the way that most people use these, just cruising around town, they are perfect. Now, in case you're wondering why I'm showing this and these at the same time, it's because they are basically the same bike. So if you're looking at any of these models, the only thing that's different between that one and either of these is the color, obviously. Okay, so there's two things, but there's the frame. Basically, that's the difference. That one's the mid-step. These ones are actually a proper step through. So the step through right here is going to be lower. So these are easier to get on than that one. Not that that one is difficult by any means, but these ones are easier. So if you want the absolute easiest bike to get on, that is the one you go for. If you just want it to be kind of medium, that one's good too. Obviously, these do come in different colors. That one, unfortunately, is only available in black, but that's been a popular choice, so that's okay. This one is white, and I should probably roll it out in the sun because you can kind of see it here. This is a very nice, pearly white color. The camera may not quite do that justice, but it's really nice. Now the same goes for this orange. I kind of call it a mandarin orange. Some people look at it and say it's a little yellowy. I definitely would say it's orange. It's got a little bit of a glossy kind of pearl to it as well. And then there's also what I'd call a cream color that's available in the step-through version as well. It's kind of a very light tan, yellowish, and I could have unboxed one and put it here, but I didn't. So you'll have to live with those two colors. If you want to see the other one, you can go check it out online. Now, since this isn't a formal bike review, I'm just telling you about it. I should probably go ride one around and kind of give you my thoughts. I already know everything there is to know. I've been selling these for months, and let's just give you a quick rundown. This is a 500 watt motor, and when I say 500 watts, I say that loosely because There are some companies out there that have 500-watt bikes, and there's companies that have 750-watt bikes. And without naming any particular names, there are some bikes I've tested or reviewed that are 750s on paper, and honestly, some of these are, I would bet on this one in a drag race. So just, you know, take it with a grain of salt when it says 500 watts and another says 750. That doesn't really tell the whole story, now does it? And to prove that, let's go right uphill. And I'm interrupting this video just briefly because I want to make sure that you know about the Bolton E-Bikes podcast. That's where I interview people like you who are interested in or are riding electric bikes, and I hear your story, and we basically tell it to the world. We tell people how much fun we're having on electric bikes. So make sure you go check out the podcast at ebikepodcast.com. You'll get notifications for new episodes when they come out. We already have 4 episodes out, and they come out every single Tuesday. So now you can get back to your review, but make sure to go check out the podcast when you're done. So this is throttle only. I'm not even pedaling. And that takes off quite easily. So this is throttle up a hill. Yes, I said 500 watts, but no hesitation whatsoever. Now, if you do want to pedal, it's a 7-speed setup. So plenty of gears. I don't want you to think that this bike is a speed demon of any sort, because it's not. It's quick, it's zippy. So let's stop here. Basically, if you're coming up a hill like this, because you have that small 20-inch wheel, it's gonna take off. It has plenty of torque. Now, I have actually had a few people who hopped on this bike brand new out of the box, and they didn't like it because it was too much power right off the line. Now, the good thing about that is we have the KT LCD on here, so it's programmable. So if you want to do a soft start or less power, you can very easily get into the settings and adjust that so you're not taking off just crazy and it's just launching you into the air like an airplane. But clearly I prefer it. Now I do have the seat a little bit low for me. Let me show you how the adjustment works on this thing. So here's the seat post, of course. That's a quick release, and it just goes up like so. And here's kind of a cool thing about it. If you want to pull the battery out, you could just undo the quick release there and just pull the seat all the way out, and that works just fine. There's also a lever underneath here, right there. So you just do that lever there, and boom, the seat tilts forward, and then you can slide the battery out. Something that's a little bit different on this bike from some of the other models I sell is that the key doesn't just lock the battery on, it actually does turn it on and off. So you have a few different settings. Basically, you can have the battery unlocked, where you can remove it. You can have the battery locked but off, so that way no one can easily steal it. Or you can have the battery locked and in the on position, and the bike won't turn on unless it's in the on position. Now there's different types of key locks. This one is such that when it's in the on position, the key stays in, it doesn't come out. You have this adjustment right here. So if you undo this quick release, there you can see the handlebars go down pretty low, and then they can come up right to, let's hold it there, this dash line right here. That's the minimum insertion. So you don't want it to be above that, because then there's not enough of the tube in here. So that is as high as you want to go. Now in that position, the bike is pretty upright. So if you're looking for a very comfortable upright feel, then this bike can definitely do that for you. But if you're on the shorter end and you want the bars lower, it can do that too. So a very wide range of heights. They can fit on it, they can get on it. And that's same goes, like I said, for these and this model and the other step-through models that were over there. Interestingly enough, the bike does come with the fenders and the rack, and this is pretty interesting. We need to go check out those boxes right there. Now I'm interrupting you again. Make sure you go to the Bolton Ebikes website, check out these bikes, and make sure to hit that subscribe button at the bottom of this video. Hit like, leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you have to think so far. Now most e-bikes, when they show up, they come in a big giant box. You got to put at least the front wheel on. Usually you got to put the front fender on, sometimes the rear fender's on. Sometimes you may or may not have to put the rack on if it comes with one. But here is a box that one of these guys comes in. You'll notice that from side to side, this way and that way, it's kind of short. Well, that's because when the bikes show up, now if you're local, of course, I will take the bike like what's behind me and I'll set it up for you. But if you're not, then the bike is going to show up in a box like this. And the bike is folded in half in the box. The fenders, the front light that comes on it, the rack, everything, the front wheel, it's all installed. So literally all you have to do to get one of these ready to go is pull it out of the box and unfold it. Then you can literally just hop on it and ride it. You probably want to charge it first, but you could. If you got enough battery charge fresh out of the box, you could just get on it and take it for a quick spin. They're ready to go. You don't have to put the front fender on. You don't have to put the light on. You don't have to put the rack on. Those come with the bike and they're already installed, which is pretty awesome. Now about that light, you just hold that up button for a few seconds and that's what turns that headlight on. And it's not the brightest thing. So this is one of those where I would say if you're gonna ride at night, get another light in addition to this one, but it is good for visibility. Unfortunately, at the current time, these do not come with a tail light of any sort. You could add one, a battery powered one of some sort easily on there. There's even some that have a sensor built into them. So when you slow down, they're detecting that you're slowing down and then the red light comes on. I'll put a link to one of those in the description because they're pretty handy on any bike that doesn't have a tail light. So it kind of is acting like a brake light, but it's not actually electrically connected to anything else on the bike, which is pretty cool. But once again, lights do not come with this model, but the fenders, which are not plastic, they're metal, the fenders and the rack come with it. Rear rack says maximum 25 kilograms, so that's over 50 pounds, and it's a pretty sturdy little thing. It's not made for a rear passenger. I wouldn't recommend that unless they're very, very light. But just so you're aware, it's for carrying things, not people. Now, the battery is a 48 volt, 12 amp hour. The batteries between this bike and these bikes are the same. So I have many, many couples who buy these models, and sometimes husband and wife choose a different color, or the husband wants the black one, the wife wants the orange one or cream or white or whatever it is, but the batteries are interchangeable. So if one of you is not going for a ride, you can borrow the battery from the other bike and use it to extend your range. Or if you just forget to charge one and need to get home or something and both of you are out riding, maybe you can swap them around or something. So just be aware that they are the same between those two different models and different colors and everything. They're interchangeable. Now, the brakes. We have mechanical disc brakes, nothing too terribly fancy. The bike realistically is going to top out at 20 miles an hour with a 500 watt motor, which is very torquey as it is, and a 48 volt battery. That's just all the speed you're going to get out of it. If you want something faster, I've got bikes that are faster. This one is not made to be a speed demon. Now, as far as what it doesn't have, some of you may have noticed that it doesn't have a suspension fork on the front. and some other bikes similar to this on the market do. And I just have to say, this is where I go back to quality over quantity. Now you might be wondering what I say by quantity when there's no quantities changing. It kind of is. So what I mean by that is I don't have a whole bunch of nice things on this bike, but the things that are on the bike are good quality. So we didn't load it up with a bunch of extra junk to make it seem nice. And I'm trying to be nice to other manufacturers when I say this. Some of the forks that come on fat tire bikes are junk. Let's just be honest. They're not very good forks. I would rather put a rigid fork on the bike and sell it to you for a good price than put a junky fork on the bike. So that's what it comes with. I do, however, have very nice air suspension forks that will fit these bikes available. So that's something that can be retrofitted. It could be put on when ordered, or it could be put on later. There is a very nice fork available, but I am not going to sell you a junky fork. You might be wondering what these things cost. These are $12.99, so right at $1,300. I do have a $99 shipping charge in the continental US. Sometimes we run sales and deals that are better than that. So watch out for those. If you're not on my email list, get on that, because that's how you'll find out when those deals are coming. So $1,300, less than $1,400 delivered. That's the most expensive it's ever gonna be. And you get a very good quality 500 watt folding fat bike that just can do a little bit of everything. So there you have it. That's one of the models that I have. And I want to do a few more videos where I kind of go through an overview of the other bike models that I have. Now, if you were wondering about things like more technical specs, like the folded dimensions, things like that, I do have those on my website at boltonebikes.com. So I'll put a link so you can go check that out. Now, what I was saying is that I want to put out some videos showing off some of the bikes that I have now in order to prepare you for the bikes that are coming. Because a lot of people have been asking about the 2020 Bolton e-bikes. When are they going to be back in stock? They're coming. I have an approximate date on when they're actually going to arrive here, but I don't want to say they're going to arrive on this date because customs and other things can throw things off sometime. Just know that they are very, very close and the demand is very high. I have a lot more people signed up to be notified about that particular model than what's coming in. So I apologize if they sell out and you don't get one. That's a very likely scenario. If you're interested in that one, please, please make sure that you put your email into the notification box where it says sold out, so you can be notified as soon as they arrive and you can snag one if you want one, because they're gonna go quick. And I also just want to say that there are other new bikes coming. So there's some changes, there's some awesome things in the works, but I wanted to cover the bikes that are currently here and available now. So this is not a crowdfunding thing, this isn't a pre-order. This is a bike that's generally in stock as much as I can keep it in stock. It's available, you can buy it, and it'll ship right to your door. Or if you're local or want to come by Grass Valley, you're of course welcome to do that. So thanks again for watching another one of my videos. I will be back. I have some cool tools and other interesting things I want to show you that are not bikes, but great for e-bikes coming up in some future videos. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit like. If you haven't checked out the podcast, go to ebikepodcast.com. That's where you'll get email notifications when they come out. You can also just go check out the podcast by looking up Bolton e-bikes on your favorite podcasting platform, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever podcasts, this podcast, that podcast. It's on all those platforms. So go check them all out. Spotify, the works. Thanks again. I will be back soon.